So we have lots to talk about today. I think it's good to talk about kind of what's going on in the world a little bit, because you and I have all these side conversations like, oh my gosh, did you see this research or did you hear about that? And so let's just bring it all into the podcast today. I think that the Zoom dysmorphia conversation needs to happen. Like last week, I'm sitting there, in my own bathroom mirror I've got like the vanity that has 3 light bulbs and 2 of them are out, except for when I turn off the light and then the one light bulb comes on. I can't figure out what's going on. Whatever happened to just like regular incandescent lights, I don't know. But anyway, not to segue. So I'm looking in the mirror and I'm just like, my skin is getting crepey. I look so much older than my peers being like the other health coaches in the online space, right? Or even just, the friends I see occasionally. I'm like, everybody's skin looks great. What's going on with my skin? But like, is that realistic? Is it because of I'm on the computer all the time? This research that I saw about Zoom dysmorphia. Zoom dysmorphia is basically what we're all struggling with now, having been on Zoom for the last couple of years, if not longer. Dermatologists are saying that, what was it? Like 86% of their patients wanted the ones that wanted cosmetic changes wanted them due to video calls, right? The most common procedures are neuromodulators like Botox, dermal fillers, and laser treatments. So people are getting fillers and Botox, and I'm not. So I actually look
like a normal person. And also, like, you're not using all the fancy filters when you do like your reels and stuff. So I think it's just all that. Well, I mean, we had this whole conversation about us. Like, I felt so validated by that whole Zoom dysmorphia, because I can't stand Zoom and I didn't understand why. I just thought, oh, I don't like it because I'm old and it's technology. No, it's because I don't want to sit and look at myself. And then I figured out how I can make myself go away. And then that's still better, but I still don't want to look
It's very distracting. It's really distracting when you're sitting there thinking, like, even today, I knew we were going to be on camera. I still didn't take a shower. I still didn't do my hair because that's reserved for a really special occasion.
Like Valentine's Day already happened.
Right. And no, I did not even wash my face on Valentine's Day. Like I literally just was in my workout clothes all day long until the night. I just like it doesn't matter a whole lot in my house. My husband's working right downstairs. We see each other all day. But today I'm like, oh, my hair. And then I'm like, you know what? This is real. And, we're getting real here. That's what it's all about. So yeah, I rarely use a filter. Like every once in a while, maybe if my lighting is like super bad, which it usually is. Today is like really dark outside, but I do have a lamp, but I rarely use a filter because I feel like it doesn't actually show most of my expression. It's like you see my eyes and my lips moving, but like the rest of me
everything's glossed over.
Yeah. But like I
like
do
Diane Sawyer.
Yeah. That's right.
Like
I always looks glowing. And and everybody does, but like, yeah, if I really like if I was serious, I would put some like fillers in. Everybody must have fillers is what I've come to the conclusion that if you don't have this, like, see, like if I smile, if you don't have this, do you have fillers? Is that what it is?
The frown, which like it's just, and I think that's the thing is that if people are in a meeting and they're totally bored, the meeting that could have been an email, and they're just like have to look like they're alive on the other side, then they just start looking at themselves and picking apart the stuff. And it's like I said, it's happening to my 13-year-old daughter. Like, she doesn't use Zoom, obviously, but she's on a device and you know, even if you're not using a filter, our camera itself, and then these, like for her, it's Snapchat, I think is the thing that she uses the most. Like they're seeing themselves in this, it's not real. Like it's not how they look. It's mirrored. So it's not their true appearance. And then my kids go to school and they think they look ugly at school because they're looking at themselves in a mirror in the bathroom with fluorescent lighting or whatever the heck, incandescent, whatever they use in the schools. And they're like, I look so bad at school. I'm like, yeah, we all do. Everyone does. But it's like they have this, it's like us when we would look at magazines growing up, like 17 magazine. It was just like all those people were airbrushed, but we didn't know that. We just thought that's what they look like. And we didn't look like that. So then we felt bad because we didn't look like that. And now they have that 24/7. Like we all do, not just them, us too. I don't want to look at myself. My daughter's like, I don't like how I look. None of us do. No one does.
Yeah. And you know, I don't know the long-term consequences of doing some of the things that people are doing. I mean, I'll be honest with you, again, in the health coach space, I'm probably one of the few that doesn't have a fake tan or eyelashes. Now, I'm going to be honest. I bought like 3 boxes of eyelashes and I glued my eyelid together when I tried to put it on. So I have no idea how to do that. I mean, a lot of people will do those things professionally. So that's sort of like the path of least resistance. Like those are things that are pretty easy to do. But then once you do get into the dermatology, you get in the hair extensions, you get the fillers and the Botox and all of that. I mean, like, what happens long term? I mean, I tend to be very cautious about putting anything in my body. I don't even color my hair right now. I'm not saying I will never color my hair. My daughter says she likes my silver tinsel, which is so sweet of her.
It's fairy hair.
Yeah.
It's like fairy hair.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like the big part of it for me is, I mean, there are side effects from any of those choices. And I don't know what they are because they are chemicals. And in a lot of cases, they could be toxic. What are the long-term effects? You know?
Yeah. And I mean, there's no way to really know with that. Like I was a huge dyer of the hair. I joke that that's why my kids were blonde because I had bleached my hair so much that I bore them with blonde hair. And then when I got pregnant, I stopped doing all that. So it was hard. It was hard to look at myself with dark hair because it just felt so foreign. Mm-hmm. And then, occasionally after they were born and I had done nursing and all that, I did some highlights, but then I just, I stopped and I'm like, you know,
you don't do anything now.
No, I don't do anything now. Yeah. I don't even paint my nails. Like I'm that weird, you know, I'm that crunchy.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting there. I mean, I don't remember the last time I had like a real pedicure. I mean, it's probably been before 2020, honestly. There was a lot that as minimal as I did to begin with, I do even less now. Yeah. So my husband's probably like, you could try a little harder.
Well, that's my whole thing when my girls are like, oh, I want to do this so that this boy thinks I'm cute. I'm like, honey, boys do not care. Yeah. They do not care. Daddy still wants to do things with me, even though I look like a hot mess. Like they don't care. Are they appreciative when you do those things? Make yourself? Absolutely. They like it. It's not required.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
That's not totally. We wear makeup for other women. Men don't care.
That's such a great point.
Just like women don't care about men with, I mean, we like a nice looking, you know, toned man, but we don't need those giant muscles. They do that for other men. Like it's really so funny how
100%. You're so right. And I mean, Matt will be honest. He says he's being honest. I'm like, he's like, don't color your hair. He's like, what, like, what's the point in that? Now he doesn't have hair. So, you know, it's well, maybe he's just like, who cares about hair?
Yeah.
But I also know that when he's at the gym and he has this goal of like a 400-pound deadlift, he is like looking at what the other guys are doing, and he's comparing himself to them. And it's all about like,
Yeah.
how can I do more than that guy? I mean, he may
Yeah.
not say that. I'm probably talking for him, but it's so true that a lot of the things, I've always said that a lot of the things that we as women do is to impress the women. It
Yeah.
is in maybe competition or to impress. I don't know,
Yeah. Maybe it's
but
just in our DNA of like, thinking we had to outmaneuver that girl so that we could, get the caveman or whatever. I don't know.
now, do you tend to use more natural skincare and makeup products? Like, what do you use?
I do. I started that actually when I got pregnant was when I went down that rabbit hole of wow, who knew all this crap was in these ingredient, these makeup products. So yeah, I started using initially I started using Beauty Counter just because it was, not that it was easy to get because you can't go to the store and get it, but like I knew that these people were trying to change legislation and, so started there and mainly use their skincare. And then I like the brand, Tarte is like a brand you can get at Ulta. That's like a cleaner, brand. And then I've started like trying to branch out and find things. Like I was at CVS the other day and I was like, oh, let me see if there's an eyeliner and there was one, Almay makes an eyeliner that's EWG certified. It has like, it's like a 0 or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, for $10, I found an eyeliner at CVS. And especially because I have 3 girls, it's like, I feel like when they're putting all this stuff on their face, I want them to, be as least toxic as possible. I mean, they're still my one is obsessed with like Dior lip oil, which is like $40. She bought that with her Christmas money.
Right,
No, I mean,
right.
maybe it was 30. I don't know. It was still ridiculous. I was
Or you
like,
have coconut oil in the kitchen. Yeah.
no. So I told her, I was like, oh, I saw there's a CoverGirl dupe for the Dior lip oil. It's only like $12. And she's like, really? So I
You
think I'm
can
gonna
wean
try to
her
find
off
that
of
for
that.
her.
Yeah. I find so years ago, I was just having this conversation over the weekend about the crepiness and like actually like what skincare products work. And I have been doing more natural products for many years or looking for some. I use a lot of Derma E. I use, what else do I use? I switched to Ilia makeup. I've been using that.
Uh-huh.
I really like that. And that's pretty decent. I have some Beauty Counter stuff. Um, but I got to be honest, like the Rodan and Fields really did work for me.
Oh, really?
It did. I mean, I used that years ago. And then I stopped because I really wanted to use something more natural. But like, I do feel like I have to sacrifice a little bit of
Mhm.
maybe that, like, what's the, like the tone or the firmness.
Mhm.
Um, because I prefer to use more natural products. So I struggle with that. And maybe
Yeah.
it's not Rodan and Fields, maybe it's like some other, there are tons of products out there that are not
Oh
natural,
my Lord. I
right?
know. Like,
Like
wow.
so much. And I've used Tarte too. I've used Tarte a lot, but it's like there are some sacrifices, I think. I don't, I wish my skin looked better. I wish it looked like it was filtered all the time,
I
but it
know, don't we?
doesn't.
Well, and I think that's hard for us too as we age because I sometimes look at myself in the mirror, zoom aside, just the regular mirror, and I'm like, whose face is this? Whose
Mm.
neck is this? And so for me, after having my thyroid removed, like there's not as much there to fill up. So it's like I have this like just wrinkly area and then I have some numbness still. So like it's not like white, and then it's like the lymph thing. And it's like I feel like because I don't have as many lymph nodes here, I get some mild lymphedema. And so I can gua sha and I can do things like that, but I don't feel like it.
Right. Oh, but I gotta say, like I've had these like knots in my neck, and that gua sha like really helps. I have like a fractionated coconut oil that I used to make little roller balls with. Like I put iodine and the fractionated coconut oil in there, and I'd roll it on myself and the kids after we swim, because chlorine really depletes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you know about the role of iodine with the thyroid, and iodine with the thyroid and everything. So I was doing that when we had a pool. Anyway, I will put the coconut oil all over after a shower, and it is great. It is like having a massage, like having that little thing just to kind of, it's really helped with the knots in my neck.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but it has not helped my chin line. I saw
I know,
like
maybe if I did it every day, I'm just like, I just don't want one more thing to have to like do. Like at bedtime, I'm ready for bed.
well, I could literally spend all day doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, like for my skincare, for my body, drinking all the water, making all my
Getting in the
meals, all the
sauna.
exercise and the sauna and the ice bath. I mean, it's overwhelming. I'm in this space, and there's a lot that I do just as habit that I've been doing for years, but even I get overwhelmed online when I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing an ice bath all the time and I can barely take a cold shower, like
Well, I
I'm
avoid the
supposed to.
sauna because I know I'm gonna have to shower afterwards. And I'm like, I don't
Right.
have time for a shower and
Yeah.
the hair and all of that. So
You got to build that in.
yeah, I'm like, I'm totally putting off this thing that could really benefit my health.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to shower.
I know. Honestly, it all comes down to the shower. That is time out of your day, out of your week. And sometimes it's just not worth it. Like if I'm going to be at home, I don't want to like have to deal with that. Nobody's going to be around me. But when you get out of that sauna, there's no choice. Like if you've cranked up the heat, and I think it's 140, 150 degrees, helps to kill viruses. So like through the winter, I really try to crank it up to take care of the viruses. I mean, you can get a good sweat on at like 125, but I really crank it up in the winter.
Well, then also, if you have spent this time excreting these toxins, you don't want them sitting on your skin to only then be reabsorbed, So
that's true. Yeah.
it's like I had used a sauna, like my massage therapist had one, and I had used it a lot and I read that and I was like, well, that's great. Like, I mean, I would wipe off obviously, but still it's not quite the same as showering it off. And I'm like, oh man.
Well, it's the same with Epsom salt baths. I was giving a talk at a Lyme disease support group, and we were talking about Epsom salt baths, and I was like being quizzed on like, do you shower after or do you not shower? Because there was like this huge like divide in the room on whether or not you had to shower after you take a salt bath, because you are releasing all those toxins. I mean, I think it's probably better if you shower after you release all of
or
those
at least
toxins.
just rinse off,
Yeah.
maybe not a full shower, but at least
splash the clean water on you. But again, it is sometimes wellness feels overwhelming. Like you can't actually have a job or take care of your family if you were taking care of yourself. And yeah, I think sometimes we just have to pick and choose what we're going to really focus on. And I know when I work with clients, I'm always like, food first, let's focus on that food. And then let's start cleaning out your personal care products. Then let's start cleaning out the stuff that you are applying to your skin, because your skin is your largest organ. You are absorbing things through there. And like you said, with our girls, now that I'm a parent, I really don't want to set them up this early. I mean, they're already having the Zoom dysmorphia. They're already having these kind of body image issues. And then I don't want them wearing like junk just to deal with that. So I think it's worth it to me to get like cleaner stuff at the expense of my beauty and my filtered face at this point.
Yeah. Because it will create a domino effect. It's like you said with your clients and the food, and then it's sort of like when you start eating well and then you start working out, you feel better, and then you're more likely to be active, and then you're more likely to want to go do things, and it just sort of trickles into everything else. But the opposite is true. Also, if you're looking at yourself, and then next thing you know, you're making a dermatologist appointment, and then next thing you know, that's not enough, and then you're on like, I've got to get an antidepressant, and which, leads me to where that survey came out that they, surveyed all these high school teenagers and said that teen girls felt three out of five teen girls felt persistently sad and hopeless in 2021. So it's like, oh God, what's going to happen when they do the survey for, this year? And so that's scary.
It is scary. And I would say it's probably in part because their parents feel the same way. I mean, I think a lot of adults feel that way. And when you live with people who feel that way, it's hard not to. So I'm not blaming the parents by any means, but it's been really tough. It's been a really tough time. And then you've got kids who were probably home by themselves for a year.
Home with their parents.
Yeah.
Who were trying to work and being frustrated and
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been super frustrating. And I saw some other, there's sort of some talk in the American Academy of Pediatrics that, 27 might be the new 18, that maybe adolescents are adolescent until they're 27. Now I'm trying to find all of the research on this, but I've been hearing about it and seeing some headlines, and it's because, because our kids are dealing with so many mental health issues, including just not being able to cope, not having the coping skills. And that whole year of whatever it was, everybody's experience was different. We're going to deal with these ramifications for a while until they're 27, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what were you doing when you were 27?
Man, I'd already been married and divorced by 27.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you'd already been making bad decisions.
I'd already made really bad choices. Really bad.
Really adult, like bad decisions for an adult. I mean, you're a young adult in your 20s. That's what we're going to call a young adult, right? I can't say at 27, you're an adolescent. I mean, I was married on my way to having my first child. I had my first child at 28. So,
wow.
Yeah. And then I still think like I did all that a little too quickly. But I can go back now. But there are people, I mean, my parents got married when they were 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Is this just for insurance purposes to have these people like still like, because there's no jobs? Maybe,
but I'm like, oh my God, here I was thinking my 13-year-old, like, okay, I got 5 more years. Now you're telling me I've got like 14 more years? Lord, I will not survive. Or 11 more years.
Yeah, I know. It's just going to feel like that. Yeah. I know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Like I'm even at the point now where college is such a bubble that I don't know if I'm going to recommend my kids go to college. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be encouraging that. We're going to see, because all 3 of my kids are so different, but like it's a bubble and it's an expensive bubble. And if you don't know what you're going to do and you're going to go, especially to an out-of-state school or a private school, like I just don't know if we can afford that, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. And it's funny that you bring that up because, and then talking about my marriage, all the things that sort of now I wouldn't change anything because everything brought me here, but everything that sort of was a bad decision or something that did not go as planned,
right.
Was something that I did because that's what you were supposed to do or what everyone else around me was doing. So I went to college, had no idea what I wanted to do, had to declare a major. Everything was geared towards that. And then I was like, wait a second, this is a money trap. Like I'm going to be here for like 6 years because everything I took that first semester doesn't apply to this new thing I decided that I figured out that I wanted to do. So I'm just going to go home until I figured it out. Well, still here. And same with my marriage. It was like everyone around me was getting married. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm 22 years old. I'm supposed to get married. Like that's what you do. Yeah, no, that's not what you do.
Yeah. Well, it's true. You start feeling that pressure. I mean,
Yeah.
I was right there. I just hadn't met the one. The one that I thought I might get married to, it didn't work. So then it took me a few more years, but you definitely do start to feel that pressure, like you're going
Yeah.
to
And
be
then
an
you get
old,
married, and then it's, when are you gonna have a baby? When are you gonna have a baby?
yeah.
Yeah.
And if we could have rolled back time on that, like had a little bit more time. My husband started law school 2 days after we got married. So, but we kept our jobs. We both had, 9 to 5 jobs. He was a government contractor. He kept his job and went to school at night. So for like the first 3 years of our marriage, we like, I mean, I didn't really see him all that much. And we had a baby in there too. And so,
Whew.
um, it was just maybe everything was a little too fast, but at the same time, 27, like I was an adult. I was making money of my own. I was living on my
Got a
own.
real job.
Had a real job. Not to say that like everybody does that. I'm fully understanding of when it doesn't happen, but yeah, you're not an adolescent. You're making your own decisions at that point. And I don't
Well,
want
and I think
to be
you have
involved with
to.
them.
You have to make
Yeah.
the decisions and have the bad things, the consequences, and like, ooh, that wasn't smart. What,
Yeah.
how could I have done that differently? Um,
Yeah. I
so at
think
least I'll be able to share that with my kids and be like, okay, so
that,
I know at school they're telling you have to do XYZ, but Q is still an option as well.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what we have to give our kids right now. It's just like the ability that, first of all, the ability to cope with hard things that aren't going to go your way, the decisions that aren't going to turn out, just cope with it all, which is hard to do. Um, but then also know that they do have options that might be one option might be right for one kid, another option might be right for the other kid. And that has to be okay. I mean, when we were in Boston several years ago, my sister ran the Boston Marathon and we rented like it was like a little houseboat cabin in the harbor. You could rent it.
Oh,
It's like an Airbnb. And so we stayed there, but across from our little houseboat was this amazing yacht. And we went over and we were talking to the guy who owned it. And we're like, what do you do? And he was an electrician. And we were like, son,
okay.
I know you're 2 years old right now, but you're going to be an electrician,
Yeah.
and I just think we need to get our heads around college. You don't necessarily have to go to college to be successful. And in fact, I think some of the smartest people probably didn't go to college.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's a lot of people living in their parents' basement right now that have shiny degrees that they've never been able to do anything with.
absolutely, absolutely.
And they're like, wait, I can't go work at Sheets because I got this degree. Um, not to say that that's the option, but um, yeah. Yeah, we had so much of a push there for many years to go to college. And then now we're in this place where my husband knows this, um, that there are no, like, the people in the trades, there's nobody. And the people who know all the things that can, apprentice people, they're like getting to the end of it. They don't want to deal with young people that don't know anything or don't want to do anything. And it's like we're in this real like juxtaposition right now of, are there going to be people to do the things that computers can't do? AI is not going to really be able to, come fix your toilet
Yeah, you take that
or
stuff for granted.
put a deck on your house
Yeah.
or, you know, do your electrical wiring or fix the pole when the wind knocks it down. Those are the people that, they make a really good living, but for many years they were poo-pooed. It's like, oh no, you don't want that job. You need to go to college.
Oh, I think we were set up like our generation. I feel like there's just this huge gap in like reality. I don't know what it is, but I
Well,
feel
it's almost like it was designed to, make student loans happen and get banks a lot of money. And, student loans are the one thing that you cannot ever get out of, even with bankruptcy. So it's like, well, that's interesting. but
Might be onto
that's a
something.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, you might be onto something. Whenever I get those student loan calls, I get really mad because we've paid off all of our loans. Like that was a lot. We did the whole paying off of all of that. And we didn't have too many, but we did have them. And all the time my husband's like, did I really need a law degree? Like, did I really, was that really necessary? I'm like, well, you wanted it. I just encouraged you. And so now it's he blames me for this, but
Of course.
but yeah, I think you might be onto something. And the best thing we can do is just like be honest with our kids and be real. Take a gap year, take a year off, work, get some credit.
Because it's hard to know. I mean, I'm not saying that, 27, you should probably have a clue, although I'm still trying to figure mine out. But yeah, 18, that's a little, when your only experience has been like your high school and your community, you may have no idea what all is out there beyond what your guidance counselor told you. And then you're supposed to invest all this money based on this, maybe one conversation you had with your guidance counselor and some tests you took that said what you might want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's why we have a whole bunch of unhappy people that are now refusing to work in their offices because they're like, wait, why am I doing this? I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh, I have that conversation all the time, with people in my client space and in my personal life. You're just like, huh, is this really how I want to spend my life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess the best we can do is just hope that our kids are out by like 21. I feel like I'll meet you in the middle. 18's a little young.
Yeah, there you go.
A little old.
21.
Let's plan on 21, just go spread your wings, and I'll be there to help you if you need it. But like it's time. It's time. So, all right. Well, we should wrap up today, but next time we'll come back with some really good, newsworthy information.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what next week's news has for us. It's like,
there's so much, right? I feel like next time we probably need to talk about detoxification. Probably could talk a little bit about best practices for detoxing, especially as so many areas of the country are being exposed to chemicals and, in our water and our food and in the air. So, that might be coming up.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get it. Let's do real talk on detox.
That's hard to say.
All righty.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.